What is up, whammin' and gentle whammin'? Welcome back to the channel, guys. So today I'm coming at you with our regional flight report. Um, we were able to take down the first one we entered on Sunday at the YCS, and we got ourselves a regional deck box and mat for that, which was pretty dope. Invite secured for the year, and I guess we'll go ahead and go over how we did in the YCS. We played all 9 rounds in the YCS, finished 5-3-1, losing the last round on the bubble. So we didn't make day 2, but I was still very impressed with how the deck performed. I feel very confident that my record would have been 8-1 if I had been better at time management. I put myself in position. The deck put me in a position to win. I put myself in a position to lose the game because my first loss of the day was in time because I just didn't have, turn was passed to me with 10 seconds left, and there was no way I could get. I had to break a board and then kill, which I had the hand to do. I could have done it, but I just didn't have the time. Our second loss, kind of the same thing. We were just in a situation to where time management was poor. We had about, I want to say, 2 minutes left on the clock, and we played a little bit too fast that time. We rushed ourselves into a losing position because we weren't paying attention to time. I feel like I made a very suspect play trying to be a not cheesy person, I guess, and it put us in a situation where we lost that one. Our third loss, honestly, if we would have done the first 2 things correctly, we wouldn't have been in that game, period. We wouldn't have been playing against that player. We wouldn't have known. But I feel like that game I would have lost regardless because just the way the game went, the hand that was dealt, nothing I could have done about that. And then the one draw was definitely because of time management. Game 1 lasted entirely too long. Even though I was in a winning position, I should have just went ahead and scooped it up and went to game 2 sooner, and we could have handedly run the backdoor 2-0 against that deck. But we're going to go ahead and get into the deck profile. Let me move our beautiful deck box out of the way. This thing is beautiful. I don't know if I'm going to start using this or not, but I probably will since it's the first one I've ever gotten. Pretty dope. But yeah, we'll go ahead and jump into the deck list. Start with the main deck. So for Prank Kids, we played 2 Roxys, 2 lamps, or 2 drop, 2 lamp, and then 2 fans and 2 place, giving us 10 names. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Yeah, 10 names to draw to 1 card combo. And then we had the 2 cards you don't want to draw and an instant fusion for extension. So this is the Prank Kid lineup I ran. I know a lot of people are cutting this to 1, or they're bumping their Prank Kid lineup and going to 50 plus cards. I decided to play 42. I wanted to be more consistent with my deck. I'm not playing the Magician Souls package. I felt like it was kind of overextension. I didn't want to play more cards that I didn't have to. I felt like if I was cramming that in, I'm just cramming in more cards that I don't need in the deck. And yeah, it's a draw too, but if I make the deck just more streamlined, I won't need the draw two. I also didn't want to pick it up because I don't feel like it's that important for the deck personally. But yeah, so this was the streamlined Prank Kids lineup. Only twice I opened more than 1 Prank Kid, and it was really rough. But in the regional, I opened more than 1 Prank Kid, but it was fine because my opponent stopped my first turn play. But I had follow-up for the next turn because I was playing against Flunder in that deck. I feel like I have a pretty solid knowledge of that matchup, and I'm not really worried about that deck. I was very, very prepared for that because our locals is literally just Flowanderies, the meta. We have 3 or 4 Flunder players at our locals, so I was more than ready for that matchup. But yeah, this is the Prank Kid lineup. I was very satisfied with it. I wouldn't change a thing about this going forward. We might be going to our regionals this weekend. I'm probably gonna play this exact list if we go to that. I feel very, very confident with this list. Like, it overperformed. I feel like I was the one holding the list back. For the Brave Engine, we played the 3 Enchantress, 1 Griffin, 3 Right, 1 Fateful, 1 Draco back, and a Foolish. So Foolish is just an additional copy of Water Enchantress. Griffin is Griffin. These 7 cards are like 1 card starters for the Brave Engine. This is like not a brick. It's not bad to draw. I've saw a lot of people playing 2 of this, which if I was going to change anything going forward, I might play a second copy because like it gets ogred a lot. But like this baits out the Ash more than most people would think. This, even if you just like open this by itself, you can still like that plus a kid is still full chain block combo because like you don't have to worry about Ash. You just go normal this, Link into Meow, this chain link 1, Fateful chain link 2. You still like chain block everything, and then once you get in past like the first kid summon, you can chain block everything else to where you just really don't care. But yeah, like this is really good. The only card in this entire engine that's technically a brick that you don't want to draw is the Draco back, because like if you draw, say, Griffin, that's fine. You can always special summon it, and if you draw Griffin plus Right or Griffin plus Water Enchantress, like you're just in there for free, because then you can search for Enchantress off of the Faithful, and you can summon it and use it to get into your DPE. Go and divert and all that stuff. But yeah, I was very happy with this number. I wouldn't change this at all. Like honestly, I'm not gonna change anything in the deck. Maybe the hand traps a little bit. We played 12 hand traps, so 2 Ash, 2 Ogre, 2 Droll, 2 Nib, 2 DD Crow, and 2 Effect Veiler. I went with this. I really like the 2-2-2 ratio because like going first, I want to see one of every, like I don't want to see multiples of the same hand trap. I want to see a diversity of hand traps. I chose to play Veiler over Imperm because I don't want to draw Veiler during my end phase. Like seeing Imperm in your opening hand is great, but seeing Veiler off the Pranks draw is a lot better than drawing a Imperm off the Pranks draw. I changed Lancia for DD Crow at the last minute, and I was very, very thankful that I did. Lancia would have been dead 90% of the day. I only played 1 Flowanderies and 1 PK between both events that I played in. The main event, I didn't play Flunder at all. I just played PK in round 8, and I didn't even need the Lancias. Like, the deck just beat 1 by itself. I didn't really even need Lancia. Drolls overperformed. Every time I saw Droll, it was very, very strong. Like this does more to Pranks and the Brave Engine than people give it credit for. And especially like if you're playing the Souls build, like I'm not playing that, so I don't lose to Droll more. Like if you're playing the Souls build, you lose to Droll more than I do. I resolved this so many times this weekend, and it was just like amazing every time I resolved it. Even if it was just to slow down the game state just a little bit, even if it was just keeping them off of Griffin, that's like this trading for like them to not get Griffin is enough for me. Like this is a 1-for-1 trade. That means I'm not using one of my power cards to get rid of the Griffin. So like if I'm drolling them on say like an Enchantress start for Right, then I don't have to worry about Griffin. That means I can nib them when they get through their combo. So like that's just the theory I went with. I want to open multiple hand traps, but I want to open different hand traps. That way I can hit different things. Veiler plus Nib, strong. Ogre plus Nib is really strong for like mirror match type things. This hitting, I hit a bunch of verts with this. I DD Crowed a lot of Water Enchantresses with this. This in the mirror match is absolutely insane. If you know when and where to hit the deck, you can mess up their pranks draw. You can keep them from adding back certain kids. My favorite thing to do is DD Crow the fusion spell, because then it locks them out of the Battle Butler, so you don't have to play through double Battle Butler if they're going for double line. Personally, I never set up double Battle Butler. I always recycled the Meow Meow because I seem to have been grinding a lot. It might be because I was doing that, but I felt like that was the correct play for the event, was not to set up the double Battle Butler. But that was a hand trap lineup. Seems pretty solid. I wish I could play more hand traps because these cards are broke, but I'm just very, very happy with that lineup. We played the DP package. This won me a game. I drew this for turn against based round 2 or 3. Yeah, I think it was round 2. Yeah, I drew this for turn against base and just like summoned it, swing, summon it, swing directly for 16, and then pop their Faithful and burn for 500, and then attack directly with a token for exact game, which was pretty nice because that put them down. They were at 41, and this being able to burn for 500 for popping a spell was enough for game, which is kind of cracked. Drew this not a crazy amount. There were times where, like, if I had Griffin and they hadn't hand trapped me yet, I would overextend a little bit by going into Roxy's to try and draw, and I drew this off of Roxy's like twice during the day, and then I just like hard opened it 3 times between both tournaments. This card's just insane. It makes grinding a lot easier. And then for power spells, I played 2 Droplet, 1 Called by the Grave. This was irrelevant until the final round when I played Sun Avalon, the deck I lost to on the bubble. I just didn't know what that deck does. If I would have had I had game 3, I dropleted the board, but I had Roxy's and no other cards in hand, so I couldn't combo out of it. If I'd have had like any other prank kid besides Roxy's, I'd have been fine. But yeah, droplet was like, I sided it out a lot, to be honest, but I just couldn't find the confidence to cut this card last minute, so I just kept it in. I'm fairly happy with it. Going forward, this might be the card I cut. I could just cut this entirely and just go down to 40. I haven't decided yet. I'll make that decision once I get closer to the YCS or the regional this weekend. And then the 1 Call by the Grave, this card just cracked. Like, I open this and I just feel comfortable. Period.com. I'm not worried about it. This card is the reason I drew my round 7, I think is when I had to draw. Yeah, round 7. I was winning the grind game, and my opponent just top decks Called by and calls by as my DPE, which was going to sail out the game next turn, and passed back to me, and I just wasn't able to kill him because I was exactly like 1900 damage short, and then he was able to come back and steal that game, putting us going into game 2 with like 10 minutes left, and that was just rough. I was up on life and just didn't get a turn to close out that game. That way we could like rush to game 3. If we would have got the game 3, I 100% would have won that game, because all I would have had to do is get back to my turn. He was playing some kind of trap deck, and just, yeah, I would have 100% won that game just as long as it made it to my main phase. But yeah, that was just poor time management. I should have won that match, and that would have put me closer to the top. But yeah, that's it for the main deck. On to the side. The side deck was what I was most worried about for the weekend. I'm not confident in what to play in the side, so this is what I went with. I decided the 3rd Droll, 2 Lancia, and then 3 Gamma and a Driver. I sided this in a lot game 3 because like I won a lot of die rolls. I lost a lot of die roll, but every time I was going first, I sided this in and just like held it. This just makes your turn 1 play free. Every time I saw this, I was very happy that I saw these. Unfortunately, when I played against Flunder, they weren't bad in shotgun the dimension shifter, so I could just like gamma them and blow them out. That's the one game I lost in the regional, was because I had the gamma for it, but he was smart. I went pranks. I searched. I did right. Like, I tried to bait the gamma out as much as I could before I committed to my normal summon, but he waited until I normal summoned to actually use the shifter, and I just went on to lose that game just because I lost advantage too fast because I had to pass with Lancias were for PK and Flunder. Like I said, I only played 1 Flunder and didn't even see this card, didn't need it. Droll was for Flunder. and any decks that did a lot of searching. So I sided this in against the Sun Avalon deck, and this like blew them out. Like this plus Nib won me game 2, and I just didn't see this or Nib in game 3, and that's why I ended up losing that one. But like this overperformed. This didn't do anything. I don't know if I'm going to play this in the regionals this Saturday if we go, because like it's going to be Albaz.deck against this. Like, I don't know if this does anything against Albaz. I have to do some more testing with a buddy of mine that's going to be playing Albaz. But this, like, overperformed. I was very, very happy with this. This is definitely going to stay in the side deck. When it did resolve, I just, like, won because it's literally just a free freaking DPE. Just being able to just, like, stop their hand trap when they're bad and just, like, throwing hand traps at you. Like, it's just cracked. I played 2 Lightning Storm and 3 Cosmic and 3 Evenly as my board breaking cards. This is really strong in the mirror match. Like, all of these have a lot of purposes. So like this covers my Eldritch matchup. This covers my Floowandereeze matchup. This covers like the mirror match. It does a lot of things. So like you won't side this in against the mirror, but you definitely side these 9 against, or these 6 against the mirror. Just because of the fact that during the standby phase, you can Cosmic the Pandemonium, then they won't be able to Fusion Summon. You lock them off of that aspect of their game for the rest of the mat, or the rest of that game, which is very, very strong. Banishing the Faithful, banishing like the Prank so that they lose their recycling loop. This card is just insane in the mirror. This card's also insane in the mirror. Yes, they can like play around it, but like this plus droplets is cracked. I did evenly droplet somebody and then leave them on just a token, which was just so good. So good. It won me that game just because I went evenly. They go chain DPE. They were going to try to pop some stuff. That way they were going to try to pop, I think DP in this was probably what they were going to do, so that way that nothing would be able to be banished, because they have to banish until they have nothing, but since they wouldn't be able to banish the token, everything would get to stay. So that's what they were trying to do. But we had the droplets, so we just like droplets and evenly matched, negate the DPE since it had already been chained, and then we just banished their whole field, which was really good in the mirror. This banishing the equips, the quick play in the mirror is really good. This versus like Eldritch and Flunder, because like Flunder just like summons everything in attack, so you just Lightning Storm it all away. Which just makes the matchup a lot like free. If you see this, probably just going to play this over the Lancias going forward, because like this just seems better. It has more coverage than Lancia, and Lancia just didn't do anything for me at all this weekend for the YCS or the regional. But yeah, these two are just absolutely insane. Like this, even in the Flunder matchup, you want to, so when they pass with the trap card set, you just like Cosmic it during the standby phase. Same principle as like playing in Prank Kids. You want to Cosmic the one that they search and set. That way they can't combo on your turn. Like this is just a really good card. And like if you're playing against Eldritch and you know which one's which, because they're going to set them off of the other. So like when they go Conch, set Sanguine, you can Cosmic banish the Sanguine. This is just like better removal in my opinion. And I'd feel like you shouldn't be playing discard removal spells in Prank Kids other than Droplet. Like Droplet's just cracked. I'm probably just going to keep it in just for like this interaction, because like this is just insane. And then finally we'll go on to the extra deck. Field Center, Nib token, Prank Kid token, and then my Adventure token. For links, we played 1 Link Spider, 1 Link Kribo, and 1 Meow Meow. This is my bridge into Dark the Dark Charmer. It's the only dark monster that really I use. So you just summon the Prank Kid token and link it for a Link Kribo, or you link off the Fansies for this, or a Veiler if you need to. There's one point where I had like the Adventure token and a Veiler in hand. I just normaled Veiler, made this, and then made Dark, and then sucked up a DPE, and then turned like Dark and something else into my own vert, made my own DPE. That way I had 2 DPEs on field, which was pretty cracked. So I kept him off of the DPE rotation, which was really good. I played 3 Doodle. I noticed a lot of people cutting this to 2, which I can agree with, honestly. I just had nothing better to put in this spot. I don't know what I would play instead of the 3rd Doodle, but there were a lot of times, like when I was trying to gas up and I knew that my opponent didn't have any, like, didn't have Nib or something, I would summon 2 Doodles on turn 1, and then I wouldn't have to shuffle a Doodle back if I didn't want to. But I would, there were times where I would summon 2 Doodles on turn 1 just so I could gas up and try to draw 2 cards. But I don't know what I would play. You definitely don't need all 3. 2 is plenty, but I don't know what I would play instead of this, personally. Because I still had room for the 1 Bow Wow, 1 Vert for the DPE, 1 Dark, the Dark Charmer. You have to play this like right now because the DPE floating around everywhere. And especially with like Branded now getting ready to come into the format, I feel like this is going to be very powerful against that deck because you're going to have to break a lot more boards. Their boards are going to be kind of insane. I don't know how Prank Kids are going to fare now that that deck's here. I will find out Saturday for sure, but 1 Unicorn, 1 Access Code. I made this line once, and when I went for this line, I got nibbed. So that was the only time I summoned these 2 cards all weekend. I think when I did go this line, though, it was round 3. No, it was round 4, my first loss. I went this line and got nibbed, but I feel like if I would have tried to force Battle Phase first, which I thought about it after I did it, if I would have forced Battle Phase first, I would have still had enough resources to go into this and then still push for game. But that was just misplay on my part. I lost that game, and then we went to game 3, and that's the one I lost in time because I just didn't have enough time to get back to my turn. I should have scooped when that nib resolved right there. We continued to play for another 3 minutes before he was able to finish me. Finish off that game. I should have just scooped as soon as he nibbed there and just went to game 3. That way I had plenty of time to side and everything, and then I would have got to go first. And we wouldn't have been in that situation because I would have got to go first. He would have got to go second. He would have broke my board like he did before, and then I had enough gas to like push back and then break what little of a board he was able to push up. So that's just, like I said, I think my biggest thing is I should have gone X1, but my two of my losses and my 1 draw was because of poor time management on my part. But moving forward, 1 Rocket Ride, 1 Weather Washer, and 1 Battle Butler, and then 1 DPE. I summoned this like almost every game. This got summoned almost every game. These didn't get summoned that much. I only summoned this once off of Instant Fusion as like extension. And thankfully I did because like they ended up ogering, or they did something. It wasn't ogre. Yeah, it was. They ended up ogering, or no, they belled my Doodle-Doo, and I was able to like use this to extend a little bit and still put up a respectable board. And then like this card just like seals out games when you summon it. If they're trying to pass with like a subpar board, I would like pandemonium into this and then just like put a bunch of Prank Kids on board and then swing in, and they wouldn't be able to respond to this, which is just cracked. Like this card is insane. But yeah, that's the deck list. I was very, very happy with it. Like I said, I should have finished X1 in day 1 at least. But two of my losses and 1 of my draw was just simply because poor time management on my part. I just got dunked on by, I'm not even gonna lie, I got dunked on by Sun Avalon. I didn't know what the deck did, and just probably made a lot of poor choices. It's a deck that I need to learn. But yeah, I was very happy with the deck. Very, very happy. So tournament report wise, so you guys know what I played, like what some of the matchups were. Round 1, I played against Drytron, and he had a game 1 loss because he was late to the event. So we won game 1, and that's how that one goes. Go round 2, we played against Based. Droll just MVP in that matchup. I just drolled him and was able to like slow the game down. Ended up winning that one 2-1. Moved on to round 3, played the mirror match. I won that one 2-0. I had better knowledge of the deck. Like I just knew what his deck was doing before he did. Game 2, he got to go first, but during the standby phase, I cosmicked away his Pandemonium, and he tried to chain it, and I was like, no, you can only activate Pandemonium during the main phase, and he had to like read his card and realize, oh no, well, that just sucks. So we were able to steal that game. Round 4 was my first loss to time. It was a mirror match. Like I said, just poor time management in that one. Round 5, we played against Dragon Link, and again, poor time management. We go to game 3. I just don't get a turn, and he's able to deal a little bit of damage. I got to go first game 3, and he was able to break the board and swing. Hold on, what was that game 3? Oh, no, that's right. That's the one where I made the questionable play. Okay, so round 5, game 3 against Dragon Link, I had the choice with 2 minutes left on the clock to either make a vert in DPE to try to push in for some damage and like really just like command the game, or just kind of like relax, slow down my play, and just kind of see what happens. I chose the aggressive approach, but I think if I would have chose the passive approach and just like summon Griffin, set Fansies, relied on I think I had like Gamma Nib in hand. I think just try to rely on those to like control the game, and then just like sit on big bodies in defense, because I knew all he had in hand was like a dark baby dragon to summon out. That would at least like if I'd have done that, I would have got back to a turn. I think I ended up like my DP got nibbed or like got removed somehow. I forget what exactly happened. And then turn passed back to me, and then I rushed some more, and then passed back to him, and he was able to get in for the little bit of damage he needed to get up in life. So I think if I would have just went with the more passive approach, I wouldn't have paid the 2,000 for the DPE, and by the end of it, I still would have been up by like 2,600 and would have won that one in time. I've got to get out of my own head and stop trying to be like an aggressive player and not play into time, and just like, if that's how I have to win, I need to start playing as if that's how I have to win. But that was round 5. Round 6, I drew with the trap deck. He like set 2, passed or whatever. No, I went full combo. He was able to break the board, and then like, I think I butlered just a touch too early, and he was able to go in and then make a Zeus, and then Zeused away the board, and then it just got really grindy after that. And it just became very difficult. Like, we played the first 30 minutes in game 1. I should have scooped as soon as he summoned the Zeus and nuked the board, and just went to game 2, because like game 2, I went full combo. He was passing back to me with like he tried to break the board and then couldn't, and then was getting ready to pass back to me. And all I literally had to do was switch everything to attack and swing for game. He had like 1,500 life. Because we had a couple turns in game 2, and then all I had to do was like swing for the last 1,500, and just didn't have time to do that. And he wouldn't scoop and go to game 3, which is smart on his part. He wanted to take the draw. That kind of eliminated us both from ever considering making top 32, but we could have still made day 2, which was my main goal. We went on to, that was round 6. Round 7, we played Invoked. We beat it 2-0. That was one of the bounties. Got some neat Astral Packs. Ended up pulling a Photon Thrasher, which is pretty cool. But that one wasn't really like... He summoned Winda. We dropleted it and just kind of won from there. Round 8, we played against Phantom Knights. We beat it 2-0. As you guys know from the channel, I've been playing that deck for the last year, so I know that deck like the inside of my hand, and I just hand trapped it at all the proper times. I could tell what line he was going for by what plays he was making, so I just kind of read what was in his hands. It just comes to me having an extreme, ridiculous amount of deck knowledge against Phantom Knights specifically, just because I've been playing that deck for so long. And then round 9 was the complete opposite. I had 0 deck knowledge and had no clue what was going on. My opponent was really cool. He was really nice. He was kind of trying to explain the stuff, but once I ran out of interruptions, I was like, you don't have to explain every single card. I'll just read as you're like playing, and then figure out what your board does at the end of it. And I wasn't able to break the board game 1. Went first game 2, was able to... I butlered him. He pushed through that, and then just like Droll Nib was a wrap for the rest of it. I was surprised he pushed that far. And then game 3, I just didn't see enough. He kind of bricked and then passed back to me, but I didn't see like the Brave engine, so I just started with the Prank Kids engine, and he was able to stop it with just I think it was just like Ash. He just ashed me, and I just poked for 15 and then passed back to him. And then it kind of did that for a couple turns for where like nothing really happened. And then he just finally drew to his combo piece and went off, and I just couldn't stop him. So that was the end of that. But yeah, the YCS went really well. I really enjoyed myself. The next day I played in one of the regional qualifiers and just destroyed that. It was pretty easy. Round one, we played against the same Phantom Lynx player that we did before. Then we played against Flowanderies. We 2-1 that. We won game one pretty handily because we main deck droll. Game two was pretty back and forth, but then once he got going, it was just too far, so I just went ahead and scooped it up instead of wasting the time and moved straight to game three. And then I just went first, set up my full board, and he started to play, and then I just had droll. I ended up drawing droll off of pranks during the end phase and just blew him out with that. He was just like normal. He did something to like stop my turn, or he Dark Rulered before I made Battle Butler, and then he just summoned Rabina, searched, and then summoned Eaglin, and then we just chained the droll, and then you just scooped it up from there. There's nothing you could have done. The next round in the regional, we played a mirror match. He just bricked hella hard game two. We won the die roll, and then we're just able to out-resource it, manage him, and just kind of knew where he was going before he did. And then just game three, game two, he just went activate pranks, and he didn't even activate place. Fuck, I don't even remember what he did. It was a whole lot of nothing because I know it passed to me, passed back to him. He activates place. I DP popped the place because I was like, it was obvious he didn't have anything because he was like set to pass or some shit. And then just like he just bricked really hard. There was nothing he could have done. I think his opening hand was like Griffin, Pranks, Ash. He made me go first. That's what it was because it was really weird. He made me go first, and I didn't open the Brave engine. I did open the Brave engine, and he ashed the Fateful. And then I just went full Prank Kids combo. I had place, so I searched for the fansies that I would normally summon off of the last one I summoned. That way I had a fansies on field to use for the Pandemonium. But then like the rest of his hand was like Pranks, Place, Griffin, Draco back, something else. It was just really bad. And then round four, we played against like another Dragon Link variant. It was like Dragon Link with like 3 Orcus cards in it. We ended up beating that 2-0. We went first, started going full combo. I made it by like a quarter of the way in the combo, and he was like, all right, we'll just go game two, just scoop it up. He's like, I can't break it. And drew his card just to see what it was, and he was like, oh, well, fuck, I shouldn't have scooped because like I might have been able to break it with that. That's why you never scoop until you at least draw your card, guys. But then we go into game two, and then we just like, he goes first and tries to make a board. I just like hand trapped him 3 times and then started to go through my combo, and he hand trapped me a couple times, and it just turned into a little bit of a grind game. But like this deck just like can put all of its Prank Kid resources back. So like the Prank Kid engine is never dead as long as you manage the Meow Meow correctly. Like you're just in the game forever. You can grind forever. You're not going to deck out. They're going to run out of resources before you will. And thankfully I know what Orcus cards do. And I played Orcus forever, so like I was just able to know when to hand trap that line, and I knew to hold the ogre for the field spell. So as soon as you went field spell, like I ogred it, and he had like 1 card in hand, and just it turned into just DPE control at that point. And occasionally, like I'd try to do Prank Kid stuff, and he'd like save his ashes and stuff for it. But that's how that went. We ended up winning the mat. I don't know if I'm going to use the deck box or not. It's really pretty. I don't know if I want to open it. I probably will. I'm probably going to use it because, like, I know it was just a regional flight, but it's the first time I got the mat and deck box, and I actually earned it, so I'm probably going to use it. It's really nice. I like the color. Yeah, I'm going to try to go this weekend to a regional if I can get a group of people to go. I don't want to go by myself. And I'm going to try to get my first top 8, but if I go like X1 or X2, I'm just going to drop because I don't need an invite. I got my invite, and I just want to try to top 8 a regional now. That's my next goal, and then I'm going to push for getting day 2 at a YCS. I'm still trying to do, like, I've got little baby goals for myself. Yeah. We'll see how this does in Despia, the meta, this weekend if I get to go to regionals. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm sorry for rambling forever. If you don't mind, please leave a like down below. Consider subscribing to the channel for more random local duels and more deck profiles and stuff along that lines. But you guys have a fantastic day. Peace.